Hello retro fans, I hope this is working now. So I had some issues at the beginning with my live stream. It was kind of, well, interrupted. And now we switch back to 720p, so it's not as sharp as it is every time, but well, I think my equipment isn't not really reflecting 1080p, but anyway. So today's mission is to check whether the newest Ultimate64 firmware, which is 3.3 as the main version and 1.0b as the subversion, is able to handle Mssiah. During my first tests with the Ultimate64, I had some issues with Mssiah. It was starting, sometimes not. And I could go into the different, let's call it modules. But I couldn't load something and it was crashing while saving, and I couldn't save my settings while closing Mssiah. And as a prerequisite, I think we're going to start with some of the main settings of the Ultimate board. And therefore we have to switch it on. Something I forgot, I'm sorry. And it should be there in a matter of seconds. Just have to select the right input. Too many options. So the board is connected via HDMI, and therefore we should have the sound over HDMI as well. And here we can see Mssiah has already started, which is actually a good sign. And let's quickly jump back into the Ultimate64 menu and check a couple of options there. So the main thing we have to look for is the F2 menu, and here we have the U64 specific settings. And here we go and select a couple of options. Let's stick to 6581, that sounds quite good. And we have to go to a different address because Mssiah is looking for the second SID at DE00. And perhaps it wasn't required to set it for the socket, but let's do it for both of it, just to be on the safe side. And we have set the Aldi SID, which is called it now, to 6581 alternative filter curve, and we have a high resonance, and we have combined waveforms of the old SID chip, and we left all the other stuff as it is. Pen Aldi SID, let's set this to left 3 and this to right 3, and this looks okay. Then let's quickly jump into the drive settings and the cartridge settings. So we have no cartridge here, we have no RAM expansion unit, we have no let me just read through this. We have, yes, so everything looks fine. We have no real thing except for the kernel perhaps. So if we have some issues, we may go and load an original kernel. Actually, I'm running this JiffyDOS kernel, but this works on other C64s as well. And the last thing we have to check is our drive setting. We have one drive enabled, and the second drive is off. That's fine. And now let's just mount a disk image so that everything looks like we are running this on a normal C64. And there's my Mssiah D64 image, and there are some files on it. I was looking for a different one, but anyway, let's just mount the disk and then everything should be fine. And by hitting enter we should start Mssiah right now. And now we got the first menu, and Mssiah is struggling to find the SID revision. Well, that's quite normal for SID replacements. They have a hard time pretending, or yeah, pretending to be a SID chip, and depending on the method the program is using to recognize the SID version, it fails or it works. So for the FPGA SID, for example, we have, I think, 3 different methods how the FPGA SID communicates back what kind of SID chip it is. And I think I couldn't get this run on Mssiah anyway, but we can go to diagnostics, more complicated word anyway. And here we can press number 1 and we should hear something. And that's perhaps a little bit loud. Let me check. Yes, it is a little bit loud. So all 6 voices are working. That's a good sign. So Mssiah has detected that we run it on 2 SIDs, and it can address the SIDs separately, and therefore we have a full kind of, well, stereo signal. And let's go through the filter section as well. So everything is there. And as a last check, we go for the ports and see whether our pedals are working. And it pretty much looks like this, except for this one. No, it's fine. And I'm just going to give you a brief view of what I'm doing here on my desk. So I have a self-built pedal box here in the corner. I can show you the other one. It's a little bit easier because I got 2 of them. And this consists of 4 pedals. It's a little bit dusty. A mini joystick and a button, which is actually my fire button. And the other box has a mouse port on this side and a switch. And I can switch between joystick and mouse, because for sequencer, for example, we can use the mouse, the 1351 mouse. And for the other Mssiah modules, we can use the joysticks, the joystick and the pedal. And I was a little bit annoyed of reconfiguring my Mssiah C64s all the time, and therefore I built myself 2 of those pedal boxes, and one is able to host the mouse as well, and therefore we should have quite some fun with our controls here right now. And the cool thing about Ultimate64 is that it has a very, very good pedal algorithm or technique, whatever we want to call this. So as you can see, it is really very stable, very smooth, and this is really outstanding compared to other C64 let's say solutions I have built. I mean, with the mixed SID we got a very good pedal, well, technique, module detection, whatever, already, and SID-FX is doing a great job here as well, but nothing beats the Ultimate64 in terms of stability and jitter and all that stuff. Anyway, enough chatting, so let's jump out of this menu and go straight to the first test we want to run here. And this is going to be the sequencer, and since there's not that much happening on my desk anyway, let's get off this. And here I forgot to press a key, otherwise we would have started with a mouse already. So we have to go to options, and here we set this to the mouse, and now the mouse should be working. Nope. Here we go. Okay, so. And now we can use the right mouse button as well, which should provide a nice little menu. Yes. And what we're going to do right now is open the demo song. Yes, we're sure. And if we're going to jump out, we got our demo sound. And if we're going to start this, we should have a full stereo sound. missed it. So I think the sound's not too bad. May lack some of the graininess of a real 6481 or 4AR SID, which is a little bit more, well, let's say noisy, a little bit more harsh. But actually I think especially the first sequence sounds very nice, and there's a little story behind this as well, because every time still struggling marking the section. So let's hit the play button again. So every time I build a Mixit, for example, or a C64 that works on stereo mode, I plug in Mssiah and start this sequence. And I've built a lot of stereo C64s already, as well as the Mixit, which I have posted on Twitter yesterday as well. And this is so connected to each other. Every time I finish the Mixit, I already hear the sequence, and I really have to test the Mixit with this Mssiah sequence. And well, anyway, just some trivia beside this. And the next thing I'd like to check is whether we can jump into the instruments and make some changes there. So it opens up already, and here we got some presets, and we can go through the presets, and basically we should be able to press some keys as well. I think there was some kind of keyboard. Yes, it's working. Okay, so the instruments are working as well, that's fine. Jump out of this and just test whether we can save the song as well. Disk, yes. Mssiah demo, okay. Device 8, that's fine. Saving. And now we got an additional LED on the board, which shows us that Ultimate is doing something, and basically we should hear it as well. Yep. No, very soft. We may have to increase the floppy volume, but as we can see, it is working. That's fine. Now let's see whether we can load it back by going to File, Open, Disk, Device 8, Mssiah demo. We may have deleted the song first. So let's open another one, then we can see if it's really doing something, but I'm pretty convinced, because the last time it was just crashing. So got stuck in the middle of it and then nothing happened. And this may sound a little bit strange. That's something I've used to test the FPGA SID firmware. what this test actually does is running through a filter sweep, and depending on the SID you're using, either it's a virtual SID or SID replacement or real SID, you can hear how this filter is affected by the sweeps.